The guy won't go down, he's got a chin.
Yo, CBC Boxing. Don't forget to subscribe, yeah? Straight boxing news. Hit up the Instagram, TBC_boxing. Let's go.
You know, I'm not a qualified judge by any means. I'm not a qualified boxing judge by any means. And to be honest with you, I actually fully respect what they do. You know, judging boxing seems to me that it'd be very, very difficult to do, especially in a close bout. You know, where both fighters are technical, and you're obviously having to count the points what each boxer would obviously attain in a boxing match. But in boxing this year, there's no denying that there's been a bit of a few strange judging in some of the fights that have gone on recently that I wanted to just quickly touch on. Now, the first one was Ritson versus Vasquez. When did that fight take place? I think it took place in, at the top of my head, maybe September? Was it the summertime? I've even forgotten. But anyway, Ritson Vasquez, I remember I was watching that fight. And obviously, as we all know, Mr. Terry O'Connor was caught on his phone that day while I was judging, which obviously shows to me that he wasn't watching the fight at hand. Well, to be fair, I think he was cleared, and the British World of Control did identify that it wasn't a handheld device by any means. So I'm not too sure what it was, but it looked like a telephone when obviously the images were merged to everyone on social media, or, you know, if you were watching it live like I was. Now, Mr. Terry O'Connor obviously judged the fight as, I think it was 117-111 to Ritson, to a fight that I personally think that Vasquez dominated. I would obviously ask everyone to go and watch that fight, and obviously everyone has their own thoughts to this. And then obviously the most two recent fights that have gone on is Dubois versus Joe Joyce. Now, before the technical knockout in Joyce's win, the judge had Dubois up by 5 points, or by 5 rounds I should say. Ended up being 88-83 to Dubois. He was winning the fight by clear 5 rounds, according to this judge. Now, if you go and watch the fight was incredibly close. Whether Dubois was up by 5 rounds, I don't know. I personally don't think he was. I'd obviously ask you guys to go and watch the fight. You judge for yourself. Then also, more recently, Anthony Yarde versus Arthur Linden. Yarde was once again in a close bout, was up by a considerable amount. I think it was up by 5 rounds, 117-111. That was one of the judges' scores. Thankfully, Linden won by split decision. Ended up being there was a bit of controversy around the scorecards. Now, it's quite disappointing, especially in bouts that are really, really close, and arguably everyone can see that it's a close bout, but then one fighter, gets a considerable amount of rounds given to them. But it's just something that I've just thought I'd touch on anyway, because it's something that is obviously emerged in the past couple of weeks about the judging in boxing. It coincidentally, Ritson was the home fighter. Yarde was obviously the home fighter in the bout, and then so was Dubois. And then all judge scores were in favoritism to them. So just something I just wanted to quickly touch on, just to see what you guys think about judging in 2020. CBC, I'm out.